Good morning. Is it good morning? I'm not sure. Maybe afternoon, but whatever day you play this video, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, do the amazing things and all. Okay, so today we're taking on accrued expenses. What is accrued expenses? Is expenses that a company has incurred but not yet paid for or recorded in its accounting system. Okay, so in this case, we have already incurred an expense as a company, but we have not paid for it. Ne? So, I like using Mr. Price as the example. Ne? The people that clean at Mr. Price is usually not the staff sometimes that works there. There will be another company that comes to clean. Those invoices for cleaning staff, it's not like they pay salaries for these people individually. They'll be paying the cleaning company. So that cleaning company is not paid before cleaners start working. That invoice from the cleaners company will be paid after the people have worked. Usually in business, I know I worked in a hotel, we would pay a month later or 2 months later. If someone has worked in January, we'll be processing the cleaning invoice maybe somewhere mid-Feb or somewhere at the month end of Feb, still paying for January. So we have already incurred the service. Somebody's already cleaned the shop or has already cleaned the hotel, but we pay for it later. That is categorically an accrued expense. Ne? So at the accounting period, uh, at the end of the accounting period or the financial reporting period, this sits as the current liability because we are owing. So an example of accrued expenses is salaries and wages. Ne? Like I was telling you now that cleaners can be paid 2 months later, or especially if it's an invoice, especially if it's an invoice not sitting on the payroll. Sometimes where you would see a lot of accrued expenses is when like a company has um casual labor, lots of casual labor that is working on site. uh, I experienced that when I was working in a labor broking company. So we had many people working in that company who came illegally in South Africa. So when we needed to pay their salaries, to get their own personal bank account was a mission. These people ended up using relatives or girlfriends' bank accounts. And we saw that sometimes they would use a girlfriend's bank account, a girl disappears, they come to cry at our offices that I never got the money. So we were trying to get some companies who can help us. We just do vouchers for them to access their salary, but that is restricted in South Africa. So you would have a person's salary sitting on your books because you've not had means to pay them because their papers are not right in the country. That's usually when you have accrued expenses sitting as salaries in the business. Interest expense, many a times, business loans they don't work like personal loans. Sometimes the loan is so big, the interest is just calculated. You'll do the amortization next year, second year. The interest is just calculated and then it's paid at a certain point once off. So every month you are accruing interest, okay? So utilities, it can be, for example, where back in the day, guys, before internet was accessible, I think we're still using broadband at that time. That internet, when you're going to a search browser, it would take like 5 minutes to open the search browser, another 5 minutes to open what you are looking for, another 5 minutes to download what you're looking for. So your time just ended in internet admin or browsing. Ne? That time, the person that was still supplying, the company that was still supplying telephone telephone services, it was only Telkom at that time. So we would get this telephone statements, like telephone statements for January. There was no way Telkom would give it to you the last day of January. They have not done, the system has not done any reconciliations on their side. Remember, that was before the time of robots, guys. Now there's bots who would do the work in an instant. So that invoice from Telkom would come very late. So we would accrue in January that because December which we received in January was around about 70,000. Let's just accrue 80,000 based on last month's invoice. Then when it comes and then it's 73, then we reverse the accrual. So guys, this is what accrued expenses is. It's a real practical thing in real business life. So don't think you're just learning it for fun in accounting. It just accrued expenses sometimes is a reflection of information not happening, not being provided by suppliers in real time. I think if we can sort that and we have information real time, the accrued expenses would reduce a lot. We would not totally eradicate them, but they would reduce a lot. So, guys, I hope you never ever struggle with what an accrued expense is in your life. This is Teacher Patty. Goodbye.